Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm reading an excerpt from 5 lessons that Neville Goddard shared. And I'll read it to you, and then I'll tell you what happened. Or I'll tell you what happened and then read it to you. But either or, we're going to read it. Actually, I'll tell you first. I was describing what I had read to someone. And as I was speaking to them, an image, a vision just dropped into my spirit. Like, as I'm telling them something, this hand I saw in my mind's eye, this hand just rose up. This open palm rose up. That was my vision. Now, let me read you what Neville says. And at the end, I'll explain to you what that open palm that came up was and what that meant to me. And so I'm sharing it with you because it made the state akin to sleep make way more sense. That vision made it make more sense. Because I've been reading it because I'm seeking to understand so that I can apply what I'm learning. Instead of just being a hearer of the word, we must be doers of the word. Now, here's what it says. And on the day that the tabernacle was reared up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, namely the tent of the testimony. And at even there was upon the tabernacle, as it were, the appearance of fire until the morning. So it was always the cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. Numbers 9, 15, and 16. You know that you are the tabernacle, but you may wonder, what is the cloud? In meditation, many of you must have seen it. In meditation, this cloud, like the subsoil waters of an artisan well, springs spontaneously to your head and forms itself into pulsating golden rings. Then, like a gentle river, they flow from your head in a stream of living rings of gold. In a meditative mood, bordering on sleep, the cloud ascends. It is in this drowsy state that you should assume that you are that which you desire to be, and that you have that which you seek. For the cloud will assume the form of your assumption and fashion a world in harmony with itself. The cloud is simply the garment of your consciousness, and where your consciousness is placed, there you will be in the flesh also. This golden cloud comes in meditation. There's a certain point when you are approaching sleep that it is very, very thick, very liquid, and very much alive and pulsing. It begins to ascend as you reach the drowsy meditative state bordering on sleep. You do not strike the tabernacle, neither do you move it until the cloud begins to ascend. The cloud always ascends when man approaches the drowsiness of sleep. For when a man goes to sleep, whether he knows it or not, he slips from a 3-dimensional world into a 4th-dimensional world, and that which is ascending is the consciousness of that man in a greater focus. It is a 4th-dimensional focus. What you now see ascending is your greater self. When that begins to ascend, you enter into the actual state of feeling you are what you want to be. That is the time you lull yourself into the mood of being what you want to be, by either experiencing in imagination what you would experience in reality were you already that which you want to be, or by repeating over and over again the phrase that implies you have already done what you want to do. A phrase such as, "Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful?" As though some wonderful thing has happened to you. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instructions. Job 33, 15 and 16. Use wisely the interval preceding sleep. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and go to sleep in this mood. At night, in a dimensionally larger world, when deep sleep falleth upon men, they see and play the parts that they will later on play on earth. And the drama is always in harmony with that which their dimensionally greater selves read and play through them. Our illusion of free will is but ignorance of the causes which make us act. The sensation which dominates the mind of man as he falls asleep, though false, will harden into fact. Assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled as we fall asleep is the command to this embodying process, saying to our mood, "Be thou actual." In this way, we become, through a natural process, what we desire to be. Now, having read that to you, here's where I was telling that to a friend, and an open palm coming up like it's waiting to catch something. And as that image popped into my spirit, I understood what it meant. Because when Neville says, what you now see ascending is your greater self, that open palm that comes up as you are getting drowsy is your greater self. And it comes up with its palm open. Why? Because it's waiting to receive the state that you want to be. So now you've got this palm that is open and waiting to receive. And this is why Neville says, use wisely the interval preceding sleep. What are you going to put into that open palm? Because as you are getting drowsy, you place that desire in there. Okay, so here's an example. I am wealthy. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and you put it into that open palm. Because now when sleep takes you, the open palm closes and goes right back inside of you with your desire. And once that desire is there, you know that State Farm commercial, "Are you in good hands?" That one? Okay. Well, your desire was just placed in the best hands. This is why it is easy to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You've just given it to your greater self. Your greater self can only be successful. So that's what that open palm rising up in my vision meant to me. So now that I'm sitting up and I'm feeling sleep approach, and he says that it starts to feel very, very thick, very liquid, and very much alive and pulsing. When you start to feel that coming upon your body, that is when the palm is open and most receptive. That is when your subconscious mind or your greater self is most open and receptive to accepting the desire, that which you put inside of it. When that image just flashed into my mind, that vision, it's just that when I heard it again as I was explaining it to a friend, the words are alive and they spoke to me. And that was the image that it showed. Seeing that image gave me a greater understanding of the state akin to sleep. Thank you again for joining me in this podcast. I look forward to your comments. I truly hope you were as inspired as I was to stay faithful and persist in the state akin to sleep. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until we meet again.